Here's the real reason they're afraid of carnivore. In this video, we're going to talk about why there is so much pushback to the carnivore diet and why there are so many people against it despite all the good results. Just before we get started, I'd like to ask you to do me a massive favor, guys. I've got a goal to get the channel to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and it's possible we could get there, but I need your help to do it. Would you please do me a massive favor of smashing the like button under this video? And if you're not already subscribed, could you please subscribe to the channel too? And smash that notifications bell so you get notified whenever I load up a video. Thank you very much for that, and let's get into it. So why is it that all these doctors and researchers and scientists and experts on TV, in print, online, on X, they're all telling us that the carnivore diet is the wrong thing to do, despite all of the stories from everyone that does the diet saying that they are having success? I think the answer is really simple. And I don't think the answer is anything related to the science or studies or authority, any of that kind of thing. I think the science, the studies, the authorities, the experts, I think that's just this very convenient way of being able to back up what your position is. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to exactly the same problem that you see in any organization around the world. People don't like change. It's as simple as that. Now, I forget the name of this particular model, but there's a model out there that talks about the stages of acceptance of a change. There are 5 stages you go through, and the first stage is shock and denial. Okay, and we can all kind of understand that if you're suddenly faced with this massive change, that you're going to be kind of pushing back, right? Just wanted to jump in and say, if you're ready to share your carnivore story, I'm ready to have you on the channel. All you need to do is send me an email to realzerocarb@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you and we'll work out a time that suits you and we'll have a chat together. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And the second stage that you go through after that is anger. And that could be anger related to, why did no one tell me about this? Why was I led to believe this thing? Why? Or you can't make me change because that's going to disrupt my life. And actually, that one's probably the most common reason for the anger. I don't like this because that means I'm going to have to give up so much to accommodate this new thing. So after we've got through anger, the third stage is bargaining. And bargaining could be in a health-related context. That could be, okay, well, I'm willing to accept this idea as being possible, but we have to balance this with all these other ideas that I already have. And that kind of negates your position in some ways, right? So you can have some bargaining there. Then the next stage is depression. That's probably where maybe you're coming to the realization that, okay, well, I have to accept this change. And finally, there's acceptance. So for the purposes of talking about carnivore and why I believe people are afraid of it, I'd like to focus on one particular stage, and that's stage number 2, anger. Now, I think anger is probably a bad label for this stage because, when we think about anger, we're thinking about things like red face, banging your fist on the table, potentially punching people, doing all those kind of things. And that's not really what anger means. But, anger can take on many forms and manifested in the context of a business or in where we're talking about health related to the carnivore diet. It's more likely to be pushback and quite vigorous pushback. All right. So the first thing we need to understand is no one likes change because change is disruptive and everyone likes to get into patterns of behavior and everyone likes to do, okay, well, I wake up in the morning and I do this and this and this, and I go to work, and at work I do this and this and this, and I get my paycheck, and then I come home and I do this and this and this, and on the weekends, that's what we do. And everyone likes that kind of general kind of flow of things. And when that gets disrupted, that's a big problem for the individual. You know, if I have a big change happen at work and I have to deal with that change and I think, oh, now I'm going to have to do overtime. Now I'm going to have to come in early in the morning. Now I'm going to have to do some extra processes that potentially make my day more difficult and means I have to take on bigger workload. And that I'm not getting paid any extra for that, and that's really frustrating. But then you take it out of just a business context and you think about in terms of health, right? When you've got experts out there that have built their entire career on a particular model of health, and suddenly we're saying, you know what? This is probably not the way things are. This is probably not the way things are meant to be. That creates a massive dilemma for them. Potentially, something like carnivore or even low carb being recognized, being widely recognized, puts people out of a job, puts a lot of people out of a job, right? This is a threat to income. This is a threat to your ability to function in a society. This is the threat to an expert's whole self-image. If you've built your self-image on this expert that everyone comes to and you write papers and everyone respects, and every time you make a post on X or you speak on TV or you do some kind of speech at a university, everyone's just like gobsmacked and everyone's just like, oh, this person's wonderful. They know exactly what they're talking about. If your whole image is based on that, imagine how you're going to feel if this diet comes along that shows positive results for everyone that does it, and it completely goes against everything you've been working towards. Now, I'm not saying this is acceptable. I'm just saying this is likely why carnivores get so much pushback. Basically, there are a lot of doctors and experts out there that are heavily invested in maintaining the status quo. And while some people's attitudes will soften over time, it's likely that we're going to face pushback for a very, very, very long time, despite the awesome results people can get on carnivore. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to hear from a doctor who is going against conventional wisdom in her own diet, check out this video next.